All right, Tomari, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Andrew Jones, you start, then followed by Ross.
Hey, Tomari, appreciate you coming on. Could you kind of walk us through the last 4 or 5 months where you were unable to participate much during the spring to where you are now? And how do you feel now?
Uh, First, I want to thank y'all for having me. To address your question, the past couple months just had a few nicks and icks going on, upper body wise. But as far as that goes, 100% now. I think for the most part, excuse me, focused on getting my lower body right, making sure I can withstand the grain of playing in the trenches and whatnot. As far as the past couple months, it's been more just flexibility, moving, getting comfortable, in football situations again. So I think, I'm feeling pretty good about how things are going.
As far as the group up front, Max talked a lot about the amount of depth that you guys have. Reva Hossack was talking about it the other day. Being able to go 7 or 8 or even 9 or 10 deep, how does that challenge you the way you prepare to go fewer plays but be able to produce more in fewer plays?
It's great, honestly. It's not. It takes a lot of the pressure off you. Knowing that you could trust somebody to come in behind you after 4 to 6 long, hard snaps. I remember playing Wake Forest, and one of those last few drives, it was pass rush after pass rush after pass rush, all the way down the field. And I'm thinking, QB hit. It was, I think it was 2 sacks, QB hit, pressure, completed pass, pressure. So knowing you can do that, and somebody's gonna come in right behind you and do that same thing, it takes a lot of pressure off you, honestly, and it allows more people to make plays. Our young guys are really good. Keyshawn Silver, Javari Ritchie, those guys are coming along. 2 freaks of nature. They're gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if they're facing the program in a few years. When they're old heads, but yeah, it takes a lot of the pressure off you being able to take some of the load off so that you could go 110% longer.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Ross Martin.
Hey, Tomari, you might have already kind of answered this, but I don't know if you have anything else to add. But why do you think the defensive line is going to be better this season? Is there anything else you can kind of add to that? Maybe some players you think have really made a big jump from last year to this year?
I think before the kind of past 2 years, it would be who you have at top and then whoever else is kind of at the bottom and gray areas still developing. I feel like now everybody's in that post-development stage to the point where even if you don't have to take a large percentage of the snaps, you can still take a chunk of it so that you're taking pressure off of some of these other guys. People are getting in their playbooks. People are knowing each and every position. Guys are cross-training. Noses are learning tackles. Tackles are learning ends are learning tackle. I think, Jalil Taylor, I mean, you guys already know about him, freak of nature, beast, all that. He's stepped up in a big way. He's a leader. Gives us something to look to. Balls 80 yards on the field or practice, and he's chasing it. So that's kind of our mindset on the defensive line. Christian Varner slept on, sleeping giant, making huge strides. He was the guy coming in, and he had to get used to his body a little bit, but now he's up there. He's just as physical as anybody else on the field, if not even more physical because he's hungry. Kevin Hester, got a little bit more football knowledge to him now. He's coming along. He knows the plays. He's physical, big body. He can sit in there. Miles Murphy, learning and tackle. He cross training. He knows what he's doing. He's in the playbook. Same for Clyde Pender. All these young guys, man. It's not a point where we don't got no more pups. Everybody's a big dog now. So it's just a matter of who's going in first. And then you're probably not even gonna notice the change. Because even if we swap out, we're still gonna just keep coming. There's not gonna be any difference in play.
I agree. That's great. Thanks, man.
CL.
Hey, Tomari, given that you guys will have more depth and more guys in on reps, how do you kind of prepare and practice for teams that are going to try and, basically 2-minute drill, run, hurry up and purposely try to keep you guys from substituting? How do you guys practice against that?
It's not really an issue. I'm going to be honest with you. We do that in practice all the time. That's how we train. We train against the best. Therefore, we're training to beat the best. And I can't think of a better offense than our offense. So if we're doing that and we're stuffing them, then I could care less who's across from us in a game and they're trying it. If they stop the sub, okay, cool. I know there are people behind me, so whenever it happens, it's gonna happen. But I know I can let loose. So that might end up turning back on them, but they could try if they want to, not to be cocky or nothing.
And growing up with you and your brother, I was just curious how much you guys were aware of Lawrence Taylor. Obviously, Taman is tied right now with Taylor in career sacks and about to pass him. I was just curious how much you knew about his playing career, not necessarily at Carolina, but just as a whole, his playing career.
Everything. I mean, I feel like every young D lineman growing up, if it wasn't J.J. Watt, it was Lawrence Taylor. So I know it was at least that for me. He's someone I look to. I think, man, he created the sack. And now it's the strip sack. If people are perfecting that, I'm thinking, what can I do to affect the game the way he did, knowing he played the same position as me?
Greg Hall.
Tomari, obviously talking about all the young guys and whatnot improving, but what do you need to do to have a better year this year than you have in the past?
Man, I need to capitalize on opportunities. God not gonna open doors that aren't ready for me, but I've been praying on it, and I feel like everybody goes through things for a reason. So there's some plays I left on the field last year. It haunts me every night, but I think this year, that's the main thing, because it's not like I'm not getting there. Like, let's not play. It's not like I'm not getting there, but I need to, when things are put in, when there are certain situations on the field, one play could change the game. And, once you go from a guy who's in, you need to take that step further and become a guy who could take over the game, a guy who can end the game. Because you could make a sack and then not make a difference, and you cannot make a sack, and that makes all the difference. So I feel like that's something this year I really want to improve on is, you got to be a sniper. It's one shot, one kill. When you're in those situations, like, you got to pull the trigger and not miss.
And how would you describe the overall chemistry that you guys have on that line? Like you mentioned, anybody could come in, but as far as having that many bodies, just how would you describe y'all's chemistry?
I think the chemistry in the spring, it was a little rough, but I think going through summer, constant nights in the indoor, extra training, things like that, always being around each other, I think it's great to where you don't even notice the difference, to where plays develop naturally. We're at a point now where whoever's in the game, you can trust that person to do their job. If you can trust that person to do their job, then all you got to worry about is what you're doing. You're in 111. All you got to do is beat the man in front of you. So I think for our chemistry, I think it's good, real good.
Tomari, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.